Hello, world! I'm Chris Pirillo, and this is my serious look. I don't get serious all that often, but I kind of wanted to have a serious broadcast. um, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect father. I don't think a perfect parent exists. There's also no such thing as a perfect child, as much as some of you parents want to believe. You know that's true. I keep running into something in social situations that I can't address directly because it's difficult to explain. So I'm going to do my best to explain it to you right now, right here. Would you ever want your child to believe that they are a bad person? That's a yes or no question. Would you want your child to believe that they themselves are bad? A bad person. Bad. Yes or no? Now, before I go a little further with this, I also have to say that I don't have a background in psychiatry or psychology. I've only had brief exposure to childhood development and learning about that in relation to my degree in education. Here's what I keep experiencing in public. Good girl. Good boy. Now, I've corrected a few people that I've known in person and explained this to them, and even they sometimes have to backtrack, and they understand why I ask them to backtrack. And I'm going to continue down this path. When your child does something that is good, praise the action. Good job. Amazing job. Great job. Because it's an action. It's not the child. The child is not the action. Moreover, do you really want that child to feel less of themselves if they can't do that action appropriately? If you know that you're not perfect and you're going to make mistakes, you have to allow that child just as much latitude. And it's very, very, I guess to me, it's clear that when you praise the action, it's separate from that child's identity. If you praise the child, that is the child's identity, right? So if let's say for argument's sake, they don't do the thing that you want, do you call them a bad girl or a bad boy? If they're not good, if they're not a good girl, what are they? If you call someone something over and over and over and over again, they start to see themselves that way. Words matter. Words can speak louder than actions sometimes. And adults don't sometimes realize that what they say has a deep impact on that childhood development and how they perceive the world and how they perceive themselves and their role within it. It's not about being a bad parent. It's about understanding that your child is not a bad child if he or she makes a mistake or isn't able to accomplish a task to your approval, to your acceptance. You accept that child as someone who's a good person, or at least I would assume that as a parent you would love your child. Understand that when you praise their actions by calling them good or you know a great person, and you're not praising the action directly, you're setting them up for failure in the future. They may not try as hard the next time because they're afraid they're never going to measure up to being a good girl or a good boy. And that's all they want to do is seek your approval and know that, you know, they are good in your eyes. But aren't they already? Do you want your child to believe that they are a bad person. That's what it comes down to. So just be mindful. The next time you want to say good boy or good girl, or you know someone in your family or a friend who does that, just, have them do just a little bit of reading, a little bit of research. It's out there to at least understand that it's not going to hurt anything by praising the action. It's going to help a lot. Because if that child does something and you say, good job, and the child, is going through the process again and can't go and complete the task, keep trying. That's okay. You did well enough. That, sometimes we just got to try it. We got to come back to it. We got to come back to it again. I really appreciate that you gave it a shot. Even my wife, sometimes when our daughter will do something that is, I'm not going to say incorrect, but like she makes an inference that is an intelligible inference, not unintelligible, intelligible inference. My wife will say, well, no, that's not exactly right, but good job putting those two things together. So encouraging the behavior to just keep trying, right? So, that it's okay to make a mistake, that it's okay to fail, that's normal. There's no such thing as being perfect, right? She's always going to be a good person. Most people are. Mind you, I understand there are exceptions to those rules. I'm not talking about the exception. If you don't want your child to think or feel or believe or start to understand that they are potentially a bad person for not being perfect, I would put the brakes on saying good boy or good girl when you're praising an action. Praise the action. Please. That's all I wanted to say. You're free to do your own thing. I just had to get that off my chest. May the force be with you.